It's official this Diddy trial is no longer just about Cassie. What started as a disturbing yet narrow case focused on her testimony has now spiraled into something no one saw coming. This isn't tabloid fuel anymore. We're talking federal courtroom shifts, leaked summaries from insider silent audio playbacks, an avalanche of resurfaced clips that are basically dragging half of Hollywood into mud the internet's working. Over time, the streets are buzzing, and the people involved, they're probably sweating harder than they ever have. So here's what's just happened after weeks of the prosecution, laying out Cassie's story, the alleged abuse, the infamous freak-offs, and Diddy's controlling behavior. Things took a sharp turn, according to courtroom spectators and online leaks. Prosecutors have moved beyond Cassie. The focus has now zoomed in on audio recordings, and not just any tapes. These are supposedly graphic, explicit tapes involving Diddy, Will Smith, and Meek Mill. This is not Twitter hearsay anymore. This is reportedly being played in open court. It all started when video footage from a hotel lobby was shown a few days ago. No audio, just visuals. Everyone assumed that was as far as it would go, but now insiders are saying that audio was played behind closed doors, and it left the entire room frozen. No phones allowed, no journalists recording, just complete silence. One source described clip as male on male, graphic and undeniable, the kind of silence that doesn't just happen unless what's being heard is serious. And if that wasn't enough to shock the room, it gets deeper. After this moment, new witnesses were announced. And they're not randos looking for clout. These are ex-Ed Boy artists, former staff, people who worked under Diddy, toured with him, stayed at his party. These are people who've seen things from the inside, people who might have stayed quiet for years, but are now ready to speak up under legal protection. One of those voice is Dawn Richards. You might remember her from Danny Kane, one of Diddy's former girl groups. She testified recently and later was spotted looking visibly frustrated and drained, caught on paparazzi cam. While leaving court, insiders say her testimony backed Cassie's story. She straight up admitted that Diddy did horrible things. That's not gossip, that's court transcript material. And then there's Diddy's daughter. If you needed a moment that really hit home how bad things are getting, it was her walking out of that courtroom. No smugness, no attitude, just blank, dead, silent, pale, and shaken paparazzi. Didn't even try to yell out questions. She didn't even look up. Now insiders claim her reaction happened right after the audio was played, which just adds to the intensity of what might have been heard inside. The implications here go far beyond legal trouble. This is now about reputation, family, legacy, and a network of secrets involving some of the most powerful people in entertainment. Will Smith's name being dropped wasn't just a throwaway. It's reportedly tied to the audio, and the internet, of course, wasted no time. Old clips side, eye interviews, podcast moments, everything about Will and Diddy's past interactions started resurfacing. One interview that exploded again, online comedian Lionel casually saying Diddy, and we were clapping each other's cheeks. She said it so casually most people didn't even catch it the first time around. This time, everyone caught it, and the internet ran with it. But then came the deeper rabbit hole. Fans started revisiting clips of Will with Jaden Smith, the affectionate kisses, the overly playful energy. One scene, as a quirky dad, now it was being rewatched through a completely different lens. People were saying it didn't feel right. The tone shifted. And then came the nuclear moment. Brother below, Will Smith's former assistant dropped his own set of allegations that made everything even harder to ignore. He claimed to have personally seen Will engaging in explicit acts, graphically describing a moment where Will allegedly played with another man's junk and tried to finger his right. That wasn't even the most shocking part, Bell went on to say. He once walked in on Dwayne Martin and was saying Dwayne was bending Will over a couch like a yoga instructor. His words, not mine. So after Brother Ball lit the fuse with that wild Dwayne Martin claim, the internet basically turned into a CSI unit. Fans weren't waiting around for media confirmation. They started pulling clips, photos, old interviews, every moment where Diddy and Will were caught together at events, hugging, laughing, posted up like close friends. And then Will came out and tried to shut all down with a hard denialist quote. I ain't nowhere near that man. I did none of that stupid. So whenever y'all hear somebody say there's a damn lie, except that made it worse the second, Will said that people flooded Twitter and Reddit with photo receipts of him and Diddy being, well, exactly near each other, parties, clubs, awards shows, chill hangouts. There's even a clip of them toasting champagne together, like old friends. So now people weren't just suspicious, they felt lied to, and this is where Meek Mill enters the frame. His name got dropped during the courtroom. Playback of those alleged freak-off tapes 2-1 that happened. It was chaos, unlike who at least tried to deny things calmly. Meek, when in a full meltdown mode, dude was tweeting nonstop defensive post after defensive post. And honestly, the more he tweeted, the more people were convinced something was up. Thing is, Meek's name has popped up alongside Diddy's for years. Fans always joked about their dynamic, calling Meek stuff like Diddy's intern pocket, puppet, and even darker things I won't repeat. Here at the time, people thought it was just trolling, but now those jokes are being dug up and reframed like old puzzle pieces, finally clicking into place. And yet the internet pulled out receipts on Meek 2-1 viral videos showed him during a party, with billionaire Michael Rubin hopping around like a kid who just lost a bet. People started pointing out how uncomfortable. It looked like he was trying to laugh it off, but the energy wasn't right. The voice in the background laughing, taunting him. Then comes another clip, Diddy throwing Meek a birthday party. Seems normal until you realize it's filled with shirtless dudes by the pool, and Diddy calling Meek daddy on camera. Proud of you. I love you. I appreciate life, daddy. Yet the internet didn't let that one slide. Every time Meek posted something trying to act hard, fans just threw that clip right back at him. Daddy became a meme overnight. And when he went on a rant saying, "I'm not fruity, stop playing with me," the replies were just flooded with screenshots, old tweets, and videos of him looking real cozy with Diddy. But what really hit people hard was the mystery of the actual audio. So far, none of it has leaked. No video, no public playback, just whispers from insiders in courtroom summaries. And that's what makes it worse. Everyone's hearing how wild it is, but no one outside that courtroom has actually heard it. One insider described it as a man being pounded, while Diddy laughed in the background. That's the level we're talking about here. There was even a short clip floating around where someone claimed they had a recording of Meek and Diddy making love. Now, whether that was real or just clout chasing is up for debate. But the buzz around it is undeniable, and the fact that the government hasn't released anything is making people even more suspicious. Because here's the thing in the U.S., you can't normally just hide evidence in a criminal trial unless it's for a damn good reason. Journalists have already started asking tough questions if this evidence is so serious. Why is it locked away? Why can't the public hear what's being used to possibly convict someone? If we're trying someone in court, transparency matters. Some argue it's about protecting the identities or dignity of the people involved. Others say it's because the audio is just too explosive, too many famous names, too much power behind the scenes. If this stuff actually leaks, it might not just ruin reputations, it could take down careers, destroy deals, spark lawsuits, and even drag in people who haven't been named yet. And that's the scariest part. Diddy, Will, and Meek are only the tip of the iceberg. Who else is tangled up in all this? As wild as everything sounds, the most disturbing part isn't even the celebrity name drops, it's the silence. We live in an age where everything leaks. iCloud hacks, court documents, even courtroom audio. It always finds its way out, but this time not a single second of those alleged Diddy tapes has hit the internet. Not a clip, not a whisper of audio, not even a still image. That silence is deafening. It's got people asking one thing: who's protecting this? And that question has opened up a whole new rabbit hole. Because let's be honest, this trial stopped being about just Diddy and Cassie weeks ago. This thing is unearthing a network, something deeper, culture behind closed doors that might have been happening for years, and no one had the guts or the power to expose it. The only reason it's coming out now is because of the federal pressure, and because the survivors and insiders finally feel safe enough to talk. We're seeing a full unraveling of someone who's been in the spotlight for decades, someone who used to be untouchable, but he was more than just a music mogul. He was woven into the fabric of hip-hop, TV, fashion, and culture. He had that bad boy for life energy, the lavish parties, the vote or die campaign, the billionaire friends, but now all of that is crumbling in real time. What's wild is how many people are going back and saying, we should have seen this coming. Because in hindsight, the red flags were always there, from his weird obsession with control over artists to those strange interviews where he says stuff like pause after nearly every sentence, like he's half joking, half hiding, or how nearly every artist that left Bad Boy seemed damaged, or Disappear McTail on Day, 26 Danny Kane Aubrey Day, has been trying to blow the whistle for years, and nobody listened, but the courtroom isn't ignoring it now, and the Don Richards testimony added weight to. The idea that Diddy wasn't just problematic, he was allegedly predatory. She confirmed that Cassie wasn't lying, that things did happen. And that type of corroboration in court that's lethal, and the emotional fallout, it's not just hitting Diddy Will Smith's already fragile reputation ever since the Oscar slap, is now on even shakier ground. People who stood by him during that mess are now questioning his character even more, because if these audio tapes are real, and if he's on them, it won't just be a PR crisis. It could be career-ending. As for Meek Mill, the internet's already treating him like he's cooked. He hasn't been charged with anything. But the way he's reacting, the over-defensiveness, the y'all trying to ruin me posts, it just adds to the suspicion. And that's the thing about the court public opinion. Once your name is tied to something that's dirty, it doesn't matter. If you're legally clean, you've already lost perception game, and yet nobody from the government is stepping forward to explain the silence. There's no statement saying the tapes are being reviewed or why they're not being released, which only fuels the idea that these tapes are too hot to touch. Maybe the people on them are too famous. Maybe they're part of deals we don't even know about, or maybe the government itself is walking a political tightrope. Why? With this case, try not to blow it open too fast. So now we're left in this strange limbo. The court keeps moving, the internet keeps digging, and the people allegedly involved keep walking around like nothing's happening. But that won't last forever. This isn't something that's going to stay buried, because the internet doesn't forget, it doesn't forgive. And when people feel like the truth is being hidden from them, they dig harder. If these tapes ever leak, it could shake the entire foundation of Hollywood's elite circles, not just because of what Diddy allegedly did, but because of who else was in the room. The velvet curtain is being pulled back, and what's behind it might be darker than anyone expected. We'll keep watching.